people in the United States to prove themselves as citizens of the United States. And how do you do that? You have to do it using government-issued photo identification, like a real ID that proves your citizenship, or what else? Oh yeah, a passport. Tribal documents do not count. Student IDs do not count. It has to prove your citizenship. You can also use things like birth certificates, but they cannot be a copy. It has to have the seal. And I would imagine, that you would probably need a photo identification to prove you are who you are with that birth certificate. You catch my drift? So because you need those things, wouldn't you think that it would be easier to get a passport or some form of ID that would allow you to vote? No. Apparently this has been going on since late fall. The U.S. State Department has ordered certain public libraries nationwide to cease processing passport applications, and they have been issuing cease and desist orders to who specifically? Not-for-profit libraries. Odd that it would be not-for-profit libraries, right? Wrong. Because not-for-profit libraries, while all over the country, are heavily concentrated in areas where there are lower socioeconomic statuses, meaning people have less money. They are in neighborhoods in which minority groups live, and, interestingly enough, they are in rural communities, which I think might be intentional because who has been really ticked off at this administration? The farmers, who were promised a whole lot and got a whole lot of nothing. You want an example? Great, I'm glad you asked. There was a woman named Joyce who lives in south central Pennsylvania, and she wrote a letter directly to Secretary Marco Rubio, who is in charge of the State Department, and she explained that the Marysville Rye Library is only one of two passport facilities serving her 556 square mile county. You best believe this is intentional. You best believe there are probably more stories that need uncovered after all this has been going on since the fall, and we're only learning about it in February, and it's certainly not a headline. They're going to try and steal this election. They're going to try and commit all kinds of fraud. And I am begging you to understand that while it might not feel like you have a voice, you have to get registered to vote, and you have to get to the polls. Even if it doesn't count, make sure you make that action step. Make sure you spend however long it takes to stand in that line and cast your vote.